Hello, my dear students. A very happy good morning to all of you. So, today this is my second lecture on chapter number 2, that is biological classification. In the last lecture, we have studied the contribution of various scientists like Aristotle, then Carolus Linnaeus. He has given two kingdom classification system, and finally the five kingdom classification system came into existence, which is proposed by the scientist. What's the name of scientist? Yes, R.H. Whitaker. He has given five kingdom classification system. Which are those five kingdoms? Yes, kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom Mycota, or you can also call kingdom Fungi, then kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia, the five kingdoms. So, in the last lecture, we have studied in detail about kingdom Monera, which includes the main members, that is bacteria. So, everything we have studied in detail. Now, in today's lecture, we will be discussing about kingdom Protista. So, let's start with second kingdom, that is Protista. Kingdom Protista, it includes all single-celled eukaryotes. All are unicellular organisms and all are eukaryotes. Eukaryotes means, here you can see the cell contains well-defined nucleus and membrane-bounded organelles. Okay, you know what are eukaryotes? Means the organisms or the cells which are there, they have the definite nucleus, and whatever the other cell organelles are there, they are also having the definite membrane. Like mitochondria, it is having the membrane. Okay, so those are called as the eukaryotes. Then these protists, they are mainly aquatic. They live in water. It forms this kingdom Protista, it forms link with all other kingdom like plants, animals and fungi. It is in connection with the all other kingdoms like Plantae, Animalia or fungi. Okay. Then the kingdom Protista, they reproduce, these organisms, they reproduce asexually mainly, as well as they also reproduce sexually by a process which involves cell fusion and zygote formation. So here cell fusion means the male and female gamete, it fuses together, and after the fusion they forms the zygote, and that zygote will develop into the embryo and embryo will form the organism. So that is called as a sexual reproduction. So both asexually and sexually they reproduce. Then under the kingdom Protista, the classification of kingdom Protista, it is grouped into five subgroups. The first one, that is kingdom under kingdom Protista, first group, that is chrysophytes. Second group, dinoflagellates. Third group, euglenoids. Fourth group, slime molds. And fifth one, that is protozoans. Chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds and protozoans. The five subgroups are there under the kingdom Protista. So one by one we'll see now. First one, that is chrysophytes. So where you will find these chrysophytes? So these are found in fresh water as well as in marine environment. Marine means sea water. So in the fresh water also you will find, that is like sea, river or the lakes, and also in the sea water. So these are microscopic. You can't see them by the naked eyes. You have to use the microscope to observe them. And they float passively in the water currents. Means they are floating on the water surface. Okay, so the algae or the protists which are floating on the water surface, those are called as the planktons. Planktons means passively they are floating on the water surface. Then most of them, these are photosynthetic. Photosynthetic means what? They can prepare their own food. So here you can see some chrysophytes. In the second picture you can see they are green in color. So why they are green in color? Because they have the pigment. By using that pigment they synthesize their own food. So these chrysophytes, they includes mainly the diatoms and algae, golden algae. So in the first picture you can see various types of the algae are there, golden color algae. Then diatoms. So here in this picture you can see the various diatoms are there, various shaped diatoms are there. So diatoms, they have the siliceous cell wall. Siliceous cell wall means it is made up of the silica, siliceous cell wall, forming two thin overlapping shells. It is having the two shells which are overlapping on one another, which fits together as in a soap box. You observe the soap box, two shell like structure will be there which fits on each other, overlapping. So like that soap box, these are having the two cell walls, that is diatoms. The cell wall is made up of silica, so it is called as siliceous cell wall. Okay, the next point is important one, that is diatomaceous earth. Okay, 1 mark or 2 mark question will be asked, what is diatomaceous earth? So diatomaceous earth, what is this? The cell wall, when these diatoms they die, the cell wall of these dead diatoms, it deposits over billions of years in their habitat. Habitat means where they are living. So after the death of these diatoms, the cell wall of these diatoms, it get deposited in their habitat over billions of years, and that is known as the diatomaceous earth. Okay, so this is used in polishing, filtration of oils and syrups. So you must have been observed the polished paper which will be having the sand like material. Okay, so that is nothing but the shell of these diatoms which is used in polishing, polished paper. Then filtration of oils and syrups. For filtration, if any particles are there in the oil or the syrup, then through this diatomaceous earth, these particles will be there, it is passed through and it is filtered. Then the diatoms are the chief producers in the oceans. So these are the main producers, means on these organisms many other organisms are feeding. Diatoms, it is the food for many organisms, so these are called as the producers. So in the picture you can see here different shapes of the diatoms. Clear? So this diatomaceous earth, it is important one, you have to remember. So this finishes the first group, that is chrysophytes. Now we'll move to the second group, that is dinoflagellates. As the name indicates, dino means, di means two, flagellates, flagellae, a flagella, thread like structure. So two flagella are present, so they are included in the dinoflagellates. Okay, so what are the characteristics of these dinoflagellates? Mostly these are marine, means you will find it in the sea water, and photosynthetic. You can see in the second picture, mainly these are green in color. So they prepare their own food. So these are photosynthetic. Green in color means they are having the pigment. By utilizing that pigment and sunlight, they prepare their own food. Next, they appear not only in green color, they also appear in yellow, green, brown, blue or red, depending on the pigment in the cell. So different, how the green pigment is there, like that the red pigment, yellow pigment, brown pigment will be there. Depending on that pigment, they vary in colors. Next, the cell wall has stiff cellulose plates on the outer surface. You can see in the second picture, the cell wall, the hard covering you can see outside, and the stiff cellulose plates, it is made up of cellulose and it is very hard, plate like structure, cellulosic plates are there on the outer surface. Then the flagella, as I told, two flagella will be there. Most of them have two flagella. One lies longitudinally and other transversely in the furrow between the wall plate. So first flagella, it lies longitudinally. So here in this picture you can see one flagella, it lies longitudinally here. It will lie longitudinally here, and one more, it is transversely in between the furrow. So two flagellas will be present, so it is called as the dinoflagellates. Then next point, for example, the gonalogs, It is the red dinoflagellates. So here in this picture you can see the water color, it has become red in color. It is forming the red tides. Whatever the tides are coming in the sea, they appear red in color. So here the gonialax, this is the red dinoflagellate. This diatom, it undergoes rapid multiplication so that the sea appears red in color. So it is called as red tides. And what it is, gonalox is there. This produces or this release some toxin. So toxins released by such large number can kill other marine animals such as the fishes. So whatever these dinoflagellates are there, they secrete the toxin. Toxin means it is a harmful chemical. So it can cause damage to the other animals. It can kill the other animals which are living there. For example, the fishes. So it is dangerous if they multiply in large number also. So this is about the dinoflagellates. Clear about the second group? Okay, that is dinoflagellate. Now the third one, that is the euglenoids. Euglenoid, for example, the euglena. In this picture you can see the animal, that is euglena. This is also microscopic organism. Okay, so you can see the euglena, it is green in color. Yes. So where these are found? These are mainly found in the fresh water. These are freshwater organisms in the stagnant water. Stagnant means the stored water. It is not moving. Stagnant water. Then instead of cell wall, so in the dinoflagellate you can see the hard cell wall is there, which is forming the plate like structure. But here instead of cell wall, they have a protein rich layer called as pellicle. So outer covering of this euglena is the pellicle, which is made up of the protein rich layer. It is called as pellicle, and it makes their body flexible. It is not very hard, so flexible, they can move in any direction, flexible body. Then they have two flagella. Here also they have the two flagella, but one is short and one is long. So here you can see the long flagella is there, and one small flagella also will be there inside here. So one is small, one is large. So it is not equal. So it is not included in the second group. So it is third one, next group, that is the euglenoid. If both the flagella are same, then it is the dinoflagellate. Okay, one is short here and one is long here. Then first I told it is green in color. So here it is photosynthetic. They are photosynthetic in the presence of sunlight, because using the sunlight and that green color pigment they prepare their own food. When deprived of sunlight, when sunlight is not available, they behave like heterotrophs. Okay, usually they are autotroph, but to synthesize their food they need the sunlight also. So in the night time they behave as heterotrophs. Heterotrophs means they depend on the other organisms for their food. So they behave like heterotrophs by predating on other smaller organisms. Predating means they are catching, okay, the other small organism. With the help of this flagella they are catching the other small organisms like the diatoms and all, and they are eating them. So those are called as heterotrophs. Then the pigment of euglenoids are identical to those of the higher plants. So whatever the higher these green color plants, whatever the green color pigment is there, that is chlorophyll. So similar to that, whatever the green pigment is there in the euglena, both are similar. So here euglenoid, the example is euglena. Clear? Now the fourth group, that is the slime molds. This is the fourth group of the kingdom Protista. The slime molds, you can see here, this is the picture. These are saprophytic protists. These are not photosynthetic. These are not, they are not preparing their own food. These are saprophytic. Saprophytic means what? They live, or whatever the food is there, they live on the dead and decayed organic matter, dead and decaying plant bodies. On that they are surviving and eating that plant material and all. So they are depending on the dead and decayed material. So those are called as saprophytic. So the body of these saprophytes moves along decaying twigs. Twigs means the sticks of the plant. Decaying twigs and leaves, whatever the fallen leaves are there, they are decaying. So on that decaying twigs and leaves, they are living. Engulfing means they are eating this organic material. So these are called as the saprophyte. So under suitable conditions, they form an aggregation called plasmodium. So here you can see they are aggregation. Aggregation means in group. They form an aggregation which is called as the plasmodium. So here you can see this is called as plasmodium. They are forming a group which may grow and spread over several feet. So like this only they come together and start dividing and growing over the several feet wherever the decaying material. If the tree bark is there, a big tree bark is there, so on that up to the several feet they will grow when under the suitable condition. Means the climate, the particular temperature should be there, some little bit of moisture or water should be there. Okay, then they will get their organic food material. So this is called as suitable condition. If all these climatic conditions are suitable, then they will grow very fast up to the several feet. But during the unfavorable condition, a proper moisture is not there, a proper temperature is not there, that is called as unfavorable conditions. Then these plasmodium differentiates and forms fruiting bodies. They will differentiate and they forms the fruiting bodies. So what is this small red color rounded structure you can see, those are called as the fruiting bodies bearing the spores at their tips. So inside that fruiting body you will find the spores are there. Okay, when conditions are not favorable, they forms the fruiting bodies which bears the spores. Then what happens? These spores possess the true walls. Spores are also covered by a wall and they are extremely resistant and survive for many years. So this wall is there around the spores. That wall is protecting that spores inside and they can survive for many years in the extreme conditions also. Then the spores are dispersed by the air currents and whenever the air will blow along with the air, these spores are dispersed and whenever they will get the suitable condition, the water or the dead decaying material, the wall around the fruiting body, it will disappear, the spores are released and they will start forming the new colony of the slime molds. So this is asexual type of reproduction by the spores when unfavorable condition is there. So this is the fourth group, that is the slime molds. Understood? Good. Next and the fifth group under the kingdom Protista, that is protozoans. Now protozoans, they are mainly heterotrophs. Heterotrophs means they are depending on the other organisms for their food. So as predators or parasites. Predators means they are catching the other organisms and eating them. And parasites means they are living inside or outside the other organism and sucking their food material from the other body. Okay, but overall they are depending on the others for their food. So they are called as heterotrophs. They are believed to be primitive relatives of animals. So these are the basic type of animals, primitive relatives of the animals, that is protozoans. So there are four major groups of protozoans. So these four groups are very important. 2 marks or 3 marks question will be asked here under the protozoans, different types of protozoans or the groups. So which are the four groups? First one, that is amoeboid protozoans, flagellated protozoan, ciliated protozoan and sporozoans. Amoeboid, flagellated, ciliated and sporozoan. So four groups are there, important one. So one by one we'll study. First, that is amoeboid protozoans. Okay. Amoeboid protozoans, you can see the example, that is amoeba. In the first picture you can see it is a picture of amoeba. So where these are found? They live in the fresh water mainly, or also seawater or in the moist soil. But mainly they are found in the fresh water. They move and capture prey by putting out pseudopodia or the false feet. So here you can see this amoeba, it is having the pseudopodia, this extension of the cytoplasm. This is called as the pseudopodia or the false feet. So by the help of this pseudopodia, they are moving. And also they capture their food with the help of this pseudopodia. They engulf the food material. Then the marine forms have silica shells on their surface. So these are mainly the fresh water, and some are found in the marine water also, that is the sea water. So they have the silica shells, that is outer covering is covered by the siliceous, that is silica. So because salt water will be there, so for the protection it is covered by the silica. Then some are parasites, means they are living in the other organisms. For example, the ant amoeba. So ant amoeba, it lives inside the intestine, that is large intestine of our body, that is human body. So these are parasites of the human body. They are present inside our body in the large intestine, and they are sucking the food, the ready-made food, the digested food from our intestine, and they cause a serious disease in our body, that is ant amoeba. It causes the dysentery, amoeboic dysentery. So that you will study in the next year diseases. So now just to remember, some are parasites, for example the ant amoeba. So this is first one, amoeboid, depending on their movement, how they are moving. So amoeboid, they are moving with the help of the pseudopodia, this extension pseudopodia. So that is first group, amoeboid. Now second group, that is the flagellated protozoans. So as the name indicates, flagellated means they are utilizing the flagella, flagellated protozoans. So here the example you can see, that is trypanosoma. So these flagellated protozoans, they are free living, freely they are living, or parasite means other organisms. They have flagella. So here you can see a long thread like structure is present, that is called as the flagellum or flagella. Parasitic form causes diseases like sleeping sickness. So here this is the example. This organism is trypanosoma, and this trypanosoma, it causes the disease, that is sleeping sickness. It is caused by trypanosoma. The human beings, they will feel sleepy only always. So that is called as the sleeping sickness. So this is second one, that is flagellated protozoan. Third one, the ciliated protozoan. Ciliated means you will find the hundreds of cilia. So this is example paramecium. You can see this is the paramecium, and on the body of paramecium you can see here small cilia like structure is there, thread like structure, that is called as cilia. So it is called as ciliated. So these are aquatic, actively moving organisms with the help of cilia. They have a cavity that opens to the outside. Cavity, here you can see, this is the cavity. Here you can see the cavity which opens to the outside. Due to the movement of cilia, water with food enters into this cavity, that is gullet. In that cavity the water will move, and in the water the food material will be there, the small organisms or the small algae, and they only take that organism as the food, and the other water is again released out. So that is the paramecium. So the movement with the help of the cilia, so it is included under the ciliated protozoans. Clear? Now fourth one, that is sporozoans. As the name indicates, spores are forming. For example the plasmodium. So here in this picture you can see plasmodium example is there. Sporozoans. Now they have an infectious spore like stage in their life cycle. So they have the life cycle, they are developing. So in their life cycle, one of the stage will be infectious stage, and that is spore like, it is spore like stage, so it is called as sporozoan. For example the plasmodium, this plasmodium, it having a spores. So these spores, they will be developing. For example the plasmodium, it is the malarial parasite and it causes the malaria. So in the life cycle of this plasmodium, so you know malaria, it is caused by this sporozoan, that is plasmodium. So plasmodium, the carrying vector is there, mosquito. So for transfer of the this organism, one of the infectious stage is there, it is in the form of the spores. So it is called as sporozoans. The example is Plasmodium here. So in detail what is that infectious stage and all you will be studying in the second year. So spore like structure will be there, and that is the infectious stage. So it is included under the sporozoan. So these are the 4 groups under the protozoa. So which are the 4 groups we have studied? The first, that is the amoeboid protozoans, flagellated protozoans, ciliated protozoans and sporozoans, important one. Understood, dear students? Yes. So this finishes our today's lecture. In the second or the third lecture we are going to discuss about the next kingdom, that is kingdom fungi, or kingdom also called as mycota. Okay, thank you dear students.